Hoity hoity, gentle squads. So, back from the hospital. I might have slightly overestimated my ability to lift stuff after the operation. I've been back for a week. It's still not perfect. Not perfect, it's quite a long way from being perfect. So lifting heavy stuff is definitely out of the question, which means that scraping the vise isn't happening at the moment. But I managed to get out into the workshop to do a little bit of work today. What this had was a toothed gear and a detent type deal dropping down into here, so it's a direct indexer with 60 teeth. It wasn't particularly solid, and because the mechanism here was all a bit buggered up, and 60 teeth doesn't give you all that many options. So what we've done, I took the gear off the back and have turned it down to a smaller radius. And this is an ABS gear which I pulled out of some second-hand stuff. That's going to be a worm gear, and it's currently mounted via these 3 screws onto the original gear which was on here. I've made a tap from some old 16mm by 4 Acme trapezoidal thread. So that'll be going in here. This will be going on here. We'll be indexing. Before we do that, this needs to be milled off, and that's where I'm going to mount the indexing mechanism. Something like this. This is a piece that I made years back for another purpose. I've just thrown it in there to see if the dimensions are about right. So that'll sit on there and pivot and drop down onto the worm gear. If we lift up, we'll then be able to do direct indexing as well.
I haven't got a 12mm semicircular piece of high-speed steel. I can't be asked to grind one specially, so I've got a tool with a rounded tip, and I'm just going to do this freehand. So there you go, less wibbly wobbly. Let's get back on the tripod and maybe we'll see some of that in slow motion. Right, and next up, what we need to do is mark the divisions on here. I'm going to divide this pretty much by hand, but I need 60 divisions on here. I have a 60 division dividing wheel on the back of the on the back of the headstock. So out comes Mr. Cutting Tool. In goes Mr. Magic Marker. Does Mr. Magic Marker fit in here, do you think? It'd be very cool if he did. Oh yeah, how about that? Mr. Magic Marker doesn't need to be on centre height. It needs depth mark. There's the 60 division. We'll just there. So. So we're set up for gashing now. So So I've got a tiny gear cutter on here. It's about as small as I've got, but it's actually it's not a very big module either. It's just a bit too small for this, but it doesn't matter. The head is set, rotated at the angle of the thread, more or less. So we're set up to index manually on every line and plunge. And so we're going to pre-gash this before we hob. That way, you need to pre-gash because otherwise you just get effectively a random number of teeth. And although it doesn't matter that much, it actually fucks up all the thread form in the bottom of the gullet here, which is not good. So I'm going to pre-gash and then we'll hob it with the hob that we made. And there we go. That's all pre-gashed. That is some horrible stringy shit to machine. It really is foul. But so I need a bit of clean up on there. But my hob is going to fit, which is good. So I'm going to clean up some of the shite that's on here, and then I'm going to square this up, put the hob in the mill, finish hobbing. And there we go. That's not the cleanest set of teeth I've ever seen. It's a long way from it. I've cleaned the edges up on the lathe. The teeth are looking a bit chewy. It's not the best. It's probably not the best plastic to play with, to be honest. What I really want to do, I think, is find a piece of bronze that's the same, the right size, and make up a bronze wheel, and maybe some aluminium. But for the moment, it does match perfectly with the thread, with zero slop, surprisingly enough, despite the ugliness of the cut. It's got the exact number of teeth that we need, which is good. So yeah, we're pretty good.